So if you're somebody that's looking to upgrade from your Chase Sapphire Preferred to your Chase Sapphire Reserved, or if you're just in the market and deciding between both of these cards, this video is going to be perfect for you because I recently switched from my Preferred to the Chase Sapphire Reserved about 2 months ago after having the Preferred for about 2 years. So going from a $95 annual fee to a $550 annual fee, it's about a $450 difference. And in this video, what I want to do is walk through all the benefits and features and see if that extra $450 annual fee is warranted. So without further ado, let's get into it and figure out which one of these two cards is worth it for you. So depending on which situation you're in, the decision might be a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is actually spell out all the features and benefits as well as a sign-up bonus for both of these cards because, so as I mentioned, you're either in position number one, which is deciding whether or not to get these cards, period, which will allow you to qualify for that sign-up bonus, or you're in the position that I was in that has the actual Sapphire Preferred but can then just upgrade the category of card to the Chase Sapphire Reserved, which excludes you from the sign-up bonus if you are just upgrading as a current card holder. So that makes the decision of the $550 annual fee a little bit different because you don't have that sign-up bonus to help you counteract that first year of the annual fee of $550. So when it does come to that sign-up bonus, they are both identical for both the Chase Sapphire Preferred and the Chase Sapphire Reserved, being 60,000 points after you spend $4,000 over a 3-month span. And according to Chase, those 60,000 points differ in value because if you go to the Chase Sapphire Preferred, you get 1.25x in terms of redemption value when you are redeeming those 60,000 points in their travel portal. And then with the actual Reserve card, you get 1.5x. So if you get the Preferred, to them it's worth $750. And if you get the Reserved, to them it's actually worth $900. But that is only if you use it through Chase's travel portal. So as of right now, that $95 to $550 annual fee does not really kind of differentiate itself with just a sign-up bonus. So the next thing I want to do is talk about the benefits and features of each one of these cards because they do differ drastically, as it should, because you're spending about 5x more on the actual Chase Sapphire Reserved. So the big comparison here is that with the Chase Sapphire Preferred, you do get a $50 hotel or travel credit that can only be used through Chase's travel portal. So let's say you find a hotel through Chase's travel portal that's $150. Chase will automatically give you a statement credit for $50 to kind of help offset that price to now bring it down to $100. Now this is an automatic credit that again can only be used for hotels booked through the Chase portal. So that effective annual fee, if you go through the Chase portal, will come down to about $45 for the Chase Sapphire Preferred. And then if you go to the Chase Sapphire Reserved, they actually have probably, in my opinion, the best travel credit out in the market because it's so flexible and malleable. It is $300 to any type of travel. And now this $300, yes, it can be used through the Chase travel portal, and it's, again, a statement credit that's given back to you after the fact, but it's so much more than that because it's basically for any travel whatsoever. So if you book a hotel, through booking.com, or if you book it directly to the hotel, it'll still help offset that. And it's not a one-time use. It kind of gets added up over time. So if, let's say, you spend $180 on a hotel that you booked through the actual hotel itself, so then that brings you down to still $120 that can be used to any other travel. And this covers pretty much anything. Like the other day, I put $50 on my Easy Pass to make sure that I'm good for the tolls. That $50 was part of that travel credit. And then also if you're in the subway system, that counts, like Lyfts, Ubers, anything that involves transportation falls under this $300 category. So it is great to see that because that means that this will benefit people even if they don't travel and don't use hotels. Because, so let's say you commute every single day and you spend $5 on the subway, that essentially means that your commute is actually already paid for and expensed because it is going off of that $300 price point. Same thing with Easy Passes and any other type of Uber, like I mentioned earlier. So I love that $300 credit because it brings that effective annual fee down to $250 on the Chase Sapphire Reserved, which is still relatively high, but let's talk about some other benefits as well. Before I get into the rest of the benefits of each of these cards, before you decide on whether or not these cards are worth it to you, make sure that you're already spending money on these categories or these benefits, because if you aren't, then it really doesn't kind of account towards your effective annual fee because it just kind of added stuff that you'll be using even more and then maybe even spend more money on top of that because you get free services that's going to make you spend more money. So if you aren't already spending money on this stuff, I wouldn't consider it part of the effective annual fee or to go against the annual fee to begin with. But that being said, I do want to mention what else is included in both of these cards. So on the Chase Sapphire Preferred, you do get a 10% annual bonus on the points that you actually collect. So let's say you earn 100,000 points through a calendar year. At the end of that calendar year, you'll get an additional 10% bonus, which will give you an extra 10,000 points, because that effectively means you get a little bit more on a per purchase basis once we start talking about those spend categories. But that 10% bonus is only on the Chase Sapphire Preferred. You also get a DoorDash Pass subscription, which is nice to see. I do use DoorDash a decent amount, so for me, it actually made sense. You get it all the way through the end of 2024. So if you do sign up now, you basically get a whole year free, which ideally will be renewed, but for right now, it's only through December 31st of 2024. And I believe that is about a $10 a month subscription, so if you start to add that up, this card is already paying for itself if you are somebody that uses DoorDash that frequently. And you also get 6 months towards Instacart, which is that grocery delivery service, which again is something that I was already paying for and already using, which I believe is about $100 a year, or at again $10 a month. So if you use that, you get 6 months free already, which is nice to see. And then you also get a $15 credit on a quarterly basis. So every quarter, if you use Instacart and you spend at least $15 on Instacart, you will get another $15, which adds up to $60 a year, which again means that this card is paying for itself with that effective annual fee, and Chase is paying you to actually hold on to this card. But again, if you do not normally use these, then I wouldn't consider it as part of the effective annual fee. So honestly, for a $95 card, that's not bad value, and we haven't even gotten into the spend categories. But now let's go over to the Chase Sapphire Reserve. So you do have, like I mentioned, that $300 kind of travel credit that can be used for anything, but then you also get a 1-year membership to Instacart, which is great to see. So for me, it was basically a free $100 to kind of like a year off of paying Instacart, which is great. But then you also get $15 on a monthly basis towards Instacart. So for me, as somebody that uses Instacart pretty much on a weekly basis, that is $15 free per month that I get of groceries, which adds up to about $180 of value over that year-long span. Now, it does bring a Lyft Pink membership as well, so that is another $10 a month kind of service, which basically makes you bring all the fees down a little bit more. Now, I wasn't using Lyft that often. Obviously, I did sign up for this. I don't include this as part of the effective annual fee, but if you are a Lyft user, this does give you top-tier membership at Lyft, which is great to see. And then to briefly talk about those spend categories that goes with Lyft, you get 10x points per dollar spent on Lyft purchases or Lyft transactions versus only 5% or 5x on the actual Chase Sapphire Preferred. You also get that same DoorDash Dash Pass, which is a $10 a month service, so $120, and that's good through the end of 2024. And you also get a $5 monthly credit towards DoorDash. So if you are a DoorDash user, which I already am, you do get a $60 a year on DoorDash if you do use it every single month. So again, these are monthly and they do not roll over, but if you do use them and you are strategic with how you use them, you can get full value for these. So $180 on Instacart, $60 on DoorDash, and that's not including the actual services that you pay on a monthly basis to be able to use that. And then you also get a global entry and TSA pre-check credit every 4 years for up to $100. So if you divvy that up, that's another $25 per year. So as you see, if you are using all these services and you do take advantage of this, then yeah, the effective annual fee will be fully reduced of that $550. And then lastly, you get, of course, the Priority Pass Select membership, which is, in my opinion, the best Priority Pass membership that you can get out of any of these higher end or high tier cards like the American Express Platinum, as well as the Venture X and things like that. Because not only does this Priority Pass get you into those airport lounges and things like that, but you do also get a $28 per use credit for these Priority Pass restaurants that are also in these airports. So if you go to an airport that doesn't have one of those Priority Pass lounges, they could have one of those restaurants. I believe there's 35 restaurants that you can choose from at Priority Pass. And again, if you just let them know early on that you're there as a Priority Pass member, basically they're going to take $28 per person off the bill for you to be able to eat and enjoy before your actual flight, even if there is no lounge access, which is great to see. So to me, if you consider all the benefits that I just mentioned, but even if you just consider that $300 kind of hotel credit or travel credit that you get, as well as just the Priority Pass lounge access, and if your local airport does have lounges and you travel 2 or 3 times a year with an additional person, that alone will pay for itself at that $550, not even including those other benefits like I mentioned with the Lyft and the Instacart and the DoorDash or even the global TSA pre-check, which is great to see. So if you're somebody that travels 3 to 4 times a year and you do have an airport that has lounge access, in my opinion, the card pays for itself because it'll start to add up very, very quickly. But if you're somebody that doesn't travel at all, it could still be beneficial for you because you do have that $300 travel credit that can be used towards commuting, towards public transit and things like that. And then also those other memberships that I mentioned earlier like DoorDash and Lyft Pink and things like that. So depending on who you are, you could see enough benefit to reduce that annual fee, or the effective annual fee, to 0 or even net positive overall. But now let's talk about the spending categories for each one of these cards because honestly, they're relatively the same. There are some elevated bonuses on the actual Chase Sapphire Reserve because you are paying $550, but let's get into those. So on the Chase Sapphire Preferred, you do get 5x points on any travel booked through the Chase portal. And then on Chase Sapphire Reserve, you also get 5x for all flights booked through the Chase portal, but you also get 10x points on all hotels and car rentals booked through the Chase portal versus just 5x that you get on the actual Chase Sapphire Preferred. The Preferred also gives you 5x points on Lyft through the end of March of 2025, but on the actual Reserve, you get 10x points on all Lyft purchases, which is great to see through that same time period. Chase also seems to have some sort of partnership with Peloton, so if you do purchase Peloton equipment, whether that is a membership or whether that is the bike itself, you get 5x points back on the actual Preferred and then 10x points back on the actual Reserve. So depending on how much you spend, it could be beneficial up to 50,000 points of redemption with either one of these Chase cards. And then finally, to round off the spending categories, you get 3x points on all dining for both of these cards, which is a great dining category card. You also get 2x points on all other travel on the Chase Sapphire Preferred, and then 3x points on all other travel on the Chase Sapphire Reserved. And then finally, it is a 1 point on everything else as a catch-all card. And that will pretty much cover all the big things that you need to know about both of these cards. Now, these are both travel cards, so you do get nice perks like no foreign transaction fees, and they do have some great other perks in terms of kind of insurance benefits, like being able to be your primary car rental insurance, which is amazing because most of these cards only give you secondary insurance. But there's a bunch of different reimbursements that you can kind of take advantage of for like trip delay insurance and things like that. But they are kind of top tier for both of them on the actual travel side, so that you cannot go wrong with. So at the end of the day, you got to think to yourself, is this worth it to me, right? If you're somebody that doesn't have either of these cards and you qualify for the sign-up bonus, then maybe that $551 is a little bit easier to swallow because you do get a minimum of about $900 of being able to redeem those points. Now, there's a lot of other ways to transfer to actual partners to be able to get way more value, like 2, 3, even 5x for your points, which is great to see. But I'll have a video kind of touching on that because we just traveled to Spain and London for all point redemptions all through business class, and I definitely want to kind of walk through some of those point redemptions with you because I have a lot of good examples that not a lot of people are talking about that you can take full advantage of. But if you're somebody like myself that already had the Chase Sapphire Preferred and is looking to upgrade, then it could be a little bit tougher to kind of justify because you aren't getting that sign-up bonus at the very beginning. But as I said, I did start with the Chase Sapphire Preferred for about 2 years to kind of understand the travel game, and I didn't want to kind of spend $550 on an annual fee for a card, or I didn't see the benefit quite yet. But as I started to kind of look at the benefits and see exactly what especially that travel credit kind of entails, that travel credit on that Chase Sapphire Reserve is kind of a game changer. Because if you commute every single day and you spend $5 a day on your commute, that is 60 days that you're kind of prepaying with that $300 travel credit that can be used, and you don't actually have to worry about actually paying for that because that's covered by the Chase card. Then you have global pre-check, priority pass. It starts to add up very quickly, and you can see the benefit of that overall. So in my opinion, basically, if you're a full-on beginner and you want to get into the travel space, go with the $95 annual fee Chase Sapphire Preferred. But if you have any experience whatsoever and you do travel or you commute or you do both, go for the Chase Sapphire Reserve because the benefits, in my opinion, outweigh kind of the $550 annual fee, which is a big one to swallow when it does come. But you know, in the back end, that you're basically prepaying for all these awesome benefits. But that will just about do it for this video, everybody. If you made it to the end, leave a little credit card emoji in the comments down below so I know you made it to the end. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because we got a lot of these cool point redemption videos that I'm kind of working on that I want to show off because we have been getting some great benefits with this Chase portal. We also have reviews on the Bill card coming, on the Amex Gold, comparing all these cards and all these benefits to see what the perfect kind of wallet setup is overall to make sure that you're maximizing all of your spend and maximizing the amount of points and miles that you're able to get through these cards. But that's going to do for this video, everybody. Leave a comment down below. Are you a Chase Sapphire Preferred user, Reserve user? Are you looking to get into these? I'll leave a link down below for you guys to sign up for these cards if you are looking to actually get into one of these cards. But that's going to do for this video, everybody. If you want to watch some more videos, click on this one right here if you're looking to get involved with the Apple card. But that's going to do it, everybody. Peace.